Yes, I think there's a hazard to subscribing to a single trim theory. The horse shows us a variety of situations that have to do with conformation and have to do with environment, have to do with age, and I think that, you know, I think a good farrier kind of chuckles and laughs most of the time, I think, at, you know, this particular trim that we know. We can name it if we want, but I think a lot of people just because we have a good understanding of the hoof and the soft tissues underneath it and the coriums underneath it and the bone underneath it, that we trim feet according to how we read the hoof capsule and how the hoof is responding. I think we all, you know, think fairly consistently on what our idea of healthy feet are. I think everybody would agree that good thick hoof wall, a good thick sole, good arched sole, nice prominent frog, well connected, the sole well connected to the wall via the white line, good straight, strong, stout bars, some vertical depth of foot. All would agree that these are healthy characteristics that we'd like to see on feet. Things like no flares, resistant to, you know, these opportunistic pathogens that live in the environment and the soil. So if you want to learn all of the trims, that would be good. I don't think that subscribing to one trim fits all horses in all environments. We've got too many different size and frames of animals with different foot types and different environments with that have different requirements of them. And so most horses that have healthy foot within these healthy parameters, as far as shoeing them, I think the trim is real similar. And I think it's kind of internationally agreed on. And I think that some of the work that Dave Duckett did years ago and Mark Caldwell from the University of Liverpool in Lancaster, and who's the lead lecturer at the Myerscough College in England, is kind of picking up where Dave left off and taking that and trying to validate some of that. And he's using some of the methods that I personally make sense to me, like locating the center of rotation of the coffin joint, and then from there finding our various, you know, centers of pressure and center of mass, and trying to find, you know, these centers in the feet that are internal that really don't move or change much within a trimming or shoeing cycle, and then forming a trim, you know, kind of from inside out rather than outside in so much. You know, understanding how a single-toed animal that stands on one column of bone that's angled in the fetlock joint. You know, there are some rules of physics that would apply there, but I think, you know, since we're not dealing with a static, you know, organism, that all of the you know, the conformations and lengths of pasterns and foot qualities and environments are the same. We've got to take that with a little common sense and realize that, you know, sometimes in order maybe to get a foot within these parameters, you're removing, you know, excessive horn that takes away structural, you know, stability of the hoof. And so you need to use some common sense and maybe go to that slower, and or use your skill in the fire to help with those mechanics with the shoe.